Jen.
I'm Mackenzie.
I'm Kristen.
I'm Whitney.
And I'm Megan, and I'm president of the Garber SLS chapter.
We've been a chapter since the late 1980s.
This video tutorial is about the 3 Ps, prom, party, planning.
In this video, we will show you how to plan the perfect prom week and how to have a safe prom and make good choices.
Now here are the ingredients for a school-wide safe prom experience.
Monday of prom week, our school sets up a crash cart in the student parking lot.
We get it from the local towing company. They're very helpful with this. They understand what we're doing.
Surrounding it are the facts about drunk driving, such as the following.
The likelihood of death in a car crash increases by 238 times if you are driving drunk.
In 2011, close to 1 million teens got behind the wheel drunk.
Teen drivers are 3 times more likely to be involved in a fatal car crash than older, more experienced drivers, and when teens drink alcohol and get behind the wheel, that risk increases. Every day in the United States, 28 people die at the hands of drunk drivers. Did you say that already?
No, I didn't. Teen alcohol use kills about 6,000 people each year, more than all illegal drugs combined.
Statistics show that 1 in 3 people will be involved in a drunk driving crash in their lifetime.
Every 90 seconds, someone is involved in a drunk driving car crash.
Thank you.
On the second day of prom week, we do a seatbelt check.
Students drive into the parking lot and we check to see if they're wearing a seatbelt.
If they are wearing a seatbelt, they're rewarded with an airhead for not being an airhead.
But if they're not, then they get a talking to from a local police officer.
Hi, are you wearing your seatbelt today? Well, thanks. Be safe on prom. Make sure you wear your seatbelt. See ya. Hi, are you wearing your seatbelt today? Oh, okay. We're gonna have to...
Was that your first ticket?
Yes, it was, and it was very nerve-wracking, and I feel so shameful of myself. I will never, ever not wear my seatbelt again.
How are you going to pay for it?
Working at candy store.
Several drunk driving videos.
These can be found with an easy YouTube search.
Here's an example of one we showed.
On Thursday, our SLS chapter hands out Smarties at the door with a message that says, "Be a Smartie on prom."
Passing out candy is a great way to get people excited about prom.
It's also a great way to get your SLS name out there.
Hey, be a Smartie for prom. Thanks. Love SLS. Hey guys. Hey, be a Smartie at prom. Thanks. Have fun. Love SLS.
Today was a really fun day.
We divided our chapter into groups and had a little friendly competition.
Each group came up with their recipe for a non-alcoholic drink. We called them mocktails.
At lunch, we had our student body vote for their favorite drink with spare change.
The winning mocktail was served at prom.
Here's our winning recipe!
Mix these ingredients however you want. It's a never-fail recipe. Rainbow sherbet, Sprite, orange juice, Hawaiian punch. We encouraged our teacher at Garber High School to share his distracted driving story with students to make sure we know how real it is. So this is Mr. Shannon, and we're going to interview him about his accident. When was your accident?
About 6 years ago, I was riding my motorcycle home from dinner at a local restaurant, and I had a green light at the intersection that I went through, and a student that was talking on his cell phone was turning left with a flashing yellow where I had right of way and turned left in front of me. I was moving at about 25 miles an hour. My motorcycle was buried into the front passenger side quarter panel of that car. It caused me to go over the handlebars of my bike, threw me into the windshield on my left shoulder, head, and bounced off actually right onto my feet. I was pretty lucky that I didn't break a neck. I was pretty lucky that I didn't break any bones whatsoever. I was monitored for a concussion that night, and did about $5,000 worth of damage to my motorcycle.
All right. How did this affect you emotionally, physically?
Well, the bike was very, very special to me. It was my brother's bike. It was the first and only possession that he had in his will when he died in 2002, and left it to me with the hopes that I would learn to ride someday. The bike to me was more than just a vehicle at that point. It was really a family heirloom. So it was important to me that the bike was rebuilt and that it was treated in the right way. When the ambulance came, I actually refused treatment so that I could make sure it was loaded onto the truck that took it away in the right way, and did not really trust any of the people that were there to do so correctly, and basically lifted it up on the truck myself and tied it down the way it was supposed to be so it wouldn't get hurt any more than what it was. My father was probably the worst part emotionally for me after that. I knew I was okay, but to call him and tell him that I was in an accident, that I was hit on my motorcycle, I knew that he was going to have huge issues until he was able to see me safe and that he knew everything was okay firsthand. It's a very scary call to have to make a parent. It's a very scary call to make any loved one, and it's not one that I would ever hope to do again.
How did this affect your friends?
They were worried for me. A lot of people have issues with riding motorcycles anyway, and this was just further proof that we shouldn't ride them. I'm under the idea that you can lose your life at any moment. You can get killed going out to check your mail walking across the street. For me, it wasn't the fact that I was riding a motorcycle that caused me endangerment. It was the fact that somebody else wasn't paying attention to what they were doing that caused the endangerment. And again, that could have happened if somebody was on their cell phone when somebody was crossing the street. A little kid on a bike races out into the road. A kid chases a ball out into the road. When you're distracted and you're behind the wheel, those are the kinds of things that cause accidents, not people that are doing what they're supposed to. So again, they were concerned for me, but I think that they were concerned for the wrong reasons. The message we should really be spreading isn't to avoid bikes or isn't to avoid walking out to get your mail. The real advice we should be giving people is when you get behind a wheel to do what you're supposed to, and it's going to keep other people around you safe.
How do you think the person in the car that hit you was affected?
Oh, they were devastated. It was actually a kid that was in my class. He didn't even want to come back to class with me in the next week. I think he was absent 3 to 4 next days. It was everything that he could do to face me. He was literally terrified for me. He was terrified that I was going to sue. He was terrified that other kids were going to be angry with him for what he did to a popular teacher at school. His life was a mess for quite a few weeks after that, and that's with me being completely okay and being all right and just having a motorcycle to rebuild. If something worse would have happened, I'm not sure how he would have turned out, but odds are it wouldn't have been very good.
What advice do you have for teenagers, especially for prom week?
You have to be serious when you get behind a wheel. These kind of activities that we have are fun. They're supposed to be fun, and we want you to have fun. But at the same time, when you get behind the wheel, it's not a time to have fun. That's a time to be serious, to make sure that everyone in that vehicle, including yourself, is going to be okay. When you get behind the wheel, you're not just making a commitment to yourself and your passengers, but all the people that share the road with you as well. The last thing that you want to do is have to explain to another parent, to another family member, or even a stranger that you took someone that they care about more than anyone in their entire life. It's a difficult call to make. It's a difficult conversation to have under the best of circumstances. And I would hope that you would take the certain amount of seriousness to your actions so you don't have to have that kind of experience later on.
Right. Thank you.
Budget.
So the day we pass out Smarties, everyone in our chapter just brings one bag of Smarties, so it's basically a donation, so that was no cost to the chapter.
And also for the seatbelt checks, the candy was donated, so there was no cost there either.
For making mocktails, each group brought in all the ingredients they were responsible for, so there was no cost. But that day when we voted for mocktails, the student body voted with spare change, so all the spare change we collected we used for the supplies that we needed for prom.
And the videos that you've seen are from YouTube, so they're free.
Evaluation, we have all of the members of our SLS chapter ask around and keep a lookout for reactions from the student body during prom week.
All the feedback we received was great. Hope your prom week goes just as successfully as ours did.
Good luck!